Right. I did do like the follow up episodes to Comms Error, but I don't know why. I just deleted them. I mean, no, I just didn't like them. But they made a couple of good points. One of which I'm gonna make, and it's part scientifical, but a little bit straight. So we're gonna go for the shades. We've gone for wraparounds today. Um, but well, it's Let me first just say actually that I got today, like on that post that I was a little bit about, but it needed saying, and I got some feedback, and one bit I don't know how many she's watched, but I know right at the start I tagged her, and she was like just honest with me. She was like, for her own reasons, she didn't want to watch. But then I knew that she'd watched this one then from the heart. And she was one of the people that I would have loved to. Well, I didn't force anyone, and would always respect anyone's decision not to watch or not to comment or anything like that. But the reason was, and I think this was one of the points from one of the ones that never made it to air, was I started behaving quite erratically on Facebook in late 2016. That was the beginning, and actually mid 2016, I think. Yeah, probably mid 2016. I started getting quite Facebook weird. Um, but then I started divulging loads and loads of very personal shit and getting a very kind of personal therapeutic benefit from that. And also getting, they were a little bit trepidatious, but that was part of it. People calling me brave, and I was going, well, I didn't feel brave by the time I'd written them, and that was the whole point of writing them. It's like you've got a fear of people thinking this like that. I was like, well, let them fucking think it then, and just write it and go, let it fucking exist for real. There you go, boom. What's happened? Has anything happened? That sort of thing. But I do when I write back to her. She's one person I can express my gratitude. I get quite reticent because when I'm gratitude to someone, I want to put them on a fucking altar, and it's quite often when they've just thought of me. But that shit means a lot to me, and it's like I'm not allowed to feel that again. I'm not allowed to feel that much. But I do. I call her sensational and incredible because she fucking is. She's like she's. There's been a lot of love back, but she's been on every single one of them. I think I'm fairly certain. And there's other times I've like to think, I know she'll have read it. And it's like 3 or 4 days later, and she's told me that she's read it and thought, I want to sit down with a cup of tea and reply to that. And that's why I really wanted her to watch them. And she watched that one. But she gave me some feedback about how it had given her some perspective. And so then that makes me think, right, so I was applying the, specific elements of ADHD and how that translated in the workplace, in the study place, and then given examples of the emotional and social isolation, and that had given her some stuff to consider. That's the kind of shit, that's where I knew that even just me babbling about this shit is useful if the right people listen to it, because it's a perspective on something, and that it's not that I'm the one saving the day. It's they'll go click, 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 and they'll relate to patients or brothers or sisters or whatever. And there's that girl the other night that said that, she was talking through stuff with her mother, and she was saying you sound a lot like her sometimes with some of the stuff you say, and then it helps me to understand her. I'm like, boom, that is exactly what I wanted, and that's what I want a lot more of, because I don't think there's much of this, not quite as real as this shit out there, without it being some specified fucking course in something or whatever. And it will be. It's called self-actualization. It's my own brand of therapy, and it's on its way soon. No, it's not. It's called self-amplification. The fuck was I on about? Self-amplification. That's what it is. that's my. That's where I'm going. That's what I'm going to call it myself anyway. However I pitch it. But what was the other bit? Where was I going? How am I doing? Oh, there was something. I think there was something else about that. Yeah, I don't know. It's um, yeah. There was a friend as well that commented, and she's got her own stuff that she's going through. But I was quite trepidatious. That was it. With I know one friend said to me, "I feel nosy," and I can't. I never sort of expected that. But like, but why would you feel nosy when I'm saying it's this? And I don't know. I still feel like I'm intruding on something that's not anything to do with me. And it's everyone's opinion is fucking valid and rightful and has its place, and I won't fucking argue with it. Um, But I don't know, it's nice to know that it's touching friends in a real way. Do you know what I mean? I know, I think anyone would be a bit trepidatious doing this. I know I'm doing something very fucking unorthodox. I don't know anyone else who does what I do quite like what I do, but then that's me, innit? But that was the other point, was I keep, picking up on it, how, that you're amazing, you're incredible, you inspire me, and all that stuff's so fucking magical to hear. And it's like, I just wish it did anything for all the other shit. Because yes, a lot of this stuff is mental and it's largely emotional, but a lot of the emotional stuff is in response to the mental and the social. And that's what got me on to schizoidicalness. And that's where the science comes in. So it is street science, though, because it only relates to people who've taken drugs, ecstasy specifically. And when you are kind of coming down and you're looking at people's faces, and this has happened not just on drugs. I'm sure it happens to other people, because it's happening to me a lot, not on drugs. And their face just looks different, and you don't quite know how. It's the same face, and they're still talking, and you're just looking at their face thinking, what? And there's a real confusion to them. Do you get that? Right. Now imagine that can happen. That's why I don't recognise people. But like I say, I think that's to do with when I'm not in touch with who I am. I lose a lot of my connections sort of temporarily, and that's what causes that. When you learn that your ego, every memory that you have, every person and thing that you know runs through your ego, and when you know that your ego has been wobbling in terms of whether it thinks it exists or not, it makes sense that you would forget those connections that you have with people. But also, it's that, imagine that strange feeling about their face, but just in their eyes. And so now it's like, I don't know if that was a dirty look or a come on. I don't know if that was a smile or a fucking sarcasm, and I don't know if it was anything. Did I just see something or not? And it could be, it's just what? And there's a weird kind of shape or something to the right. They just seem to be looking at you funny. And then every time I've sort of commented in that situation, I get told that I'm doing exactly that. That's why I say people just sort of seem to, I don't know, their face just changes in appearance. And I get really stressed by it, because it's like the tip of the fucking iceberg. I know when that starts happening, I think, here we fucking go. Here we fucking go. And, it's one of those, like I've mentioned in other videos, how do I deal with it when I'm in the moment? How do I say to someone, I feel really paranoid, without just being told, oh, don't be silly, don't be paranoid, it's okay, because they won't know what else to fucking say. And the other thing is, the paranoia is a symptom, it's a presentation of whatever the fucking dysfunction is beginning to occur. And then the low self-worth comes in, all of the other fucking symptoms come in, but it's whatever the dysfunction is. And I know that I'm right, because I do have moments of lucidity. I do have times when I feel how I see other people's faces look when they're doing something, and then just go, talk and get back to it. And then, or when someone talks to them, like, what? And they just want to get back to what they're doing. They're not being rude, but it's like, anyway, can I? Yeah. And my head has got this calmness in between each thought, and I often go, fuck me, this must be what it's like for normal people. And I've always known that, which was one of the sort of factors that prohibited me from getting a diagnosis that quickly. It took 8 years, all the while living with this fucking erratic fucking personality disorder that everyone told me was my fault. There was considerable damage from all of these elements that were happening for year upon year upon year upon year. And it's throwing fucking 14 years of fucking alcoholism on top of that as well. It's, like I always said, I didn't stay in the fellowships because, there's a saying in there about not our type, and there are certain kinds of drinkers. And I truly believe that I drank alcoholically and I had all the same symptoms But my alcoholism was a symptom of all of this shit. And that's why when people used to say, oh, you're amazing for giving up alcohol, I used to think, I haven't beaten anything, mate. So I knew there was all these, I was doing clearing after this, after that, and visiting therapist after counsellor, reading fucking self-help book after self-help book, and working on this shit daily and fucking weekly, and doing all kinds of rituals and ceremonies and fuck knows what to shift this crap. And it only made sense after my meltdown. And it fucking also destroyed me. It was the weirdest bomb ever. It was a bomb that I would go back and detonate tomorrow as well. But yeah, it's, oh God, the world's confusing. I try and explain it, I don't make sense. And then people tell me it's because I'm getting the world wrong. But then when I explain that to Dr. Bleepity, he tells me all the reasons why I'm being interpreted that way, and it's because of this, and it's because of that. So then I've got another thing, and then he produces a printout that says, oh, by the way, throughout every single fucking human interaction with every single person ever, you've got 5 alarm bell fucking warning signs running as a thread throughout in your subconscious, ready to feel enslaved or subjugated. Fucking horrible words. Fucking horrible words. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Go off and see your mates. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's hard to describe the fear and uncertainty that comes from not being able to interpret the world around you. It sounds so fucking simple. But when that is rooted in a sense that your ego is letting go of its own self, and that's why it's not recognizing people. So, and you don't know what that feels like to go through with that utter fucking bewilderment. And it's happening, and it happens anytime. Any fucking time. It would make anyone fucking scared. But then all of the reasons why are all these different fucking external factors, which then just get looked at in an isolated way. And, oh, I've been through that. All I did was not think about it. And I know I'm boiling it down to a very shit fucking version. But yeah, I think often when I'm talking about these things, I'm using them as an example of a symptom of what's going on. So because of my fucking miscommunication, that happened. So, you know, I'm actually talking about trying to take this shit with me and apply it into society, and then this is happening. And what people do is they talk about that. They talk about that situation and that person, what was going on for them. And they pull that apart because they think that is the problem. But I've actually said, no, the problem has caused this. Does that make sense? I hope that does, because I think that is a fundamental element of where we are talking at different purposes sometimes. And then I feel further isolated back into this confusing shell. And everyone says, don't worry, you're killing it. We love you. And I'm like, I love you too. But it's not changing any of this. Nightly fucking bewildered loneliness and fucking forever trying to pick myself up and then falling on my fucking face. Breaking my leg. Metaphorically as well. Falling the fuck over. I never actually got into the full science bit, but I'm going to wind my neck in on this one, and I'll do it in the next one.